It is the second day of the Shangri-La Dialogue, where the United States raised tensions with China Saturday. In a speech he gave, the U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel claims China was a destabilizing force in the South China Sea. China was quick to respond, rebuking Hagel in a private meeting. For more now, we're joined live by our correspondent, Miro, who's in Singapore. And Miro, what is the latest?
Hi, Susan. On the second day of the Shangri-La Dialogue, it was a packed agenda. Defense ministers from the UK, Malaysia, as well as Japan all gave speech. But the highlight, of course, is what you mentioned, the U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel's speech. During the speech, he reaffirmed the U.S. Commitment in the region. He says the rebalancing towards Asia has made extraordinary progress. He also said the rebalance is no longer a goal or a promise, it is already a reality. He also used the opportunity to single out China, criticize China on the handling of territory disputes.
In recent months, China has undertaken destabilizing unilateral actions asserting its claims in the South China Sea. But we firmly oppose any nation's use of intimidation, coercion, or the threat of force to assert those claims.
Of course, that message didn't go very well among the Chinese delegates. In fact, after his speech during the Q&A session, Madam Yao Yingzhu, who is the Major General she's the Director of the Center of the U.S.-China Defense Relations, she had a heated debate with Chuck Hagel, and it was very interesting to see because she is known as one of the Iron Ladies among the Chinese delegates. And some media reports even say that Madam Yao took off her velvet gloves and showed her iron fist. Also, Wang Guanzhong, who is the deputy chief of the General Staff at the People's Liberation Army, he also leads the Chinese delegates this time at the Shangri-La Dialogue. He told the Chinese reporters that he thinks it's very inappropriate for Hagel to single out and criticize China in this kind of multilateral environment, in a dialogue environment. He also thinks forging allies with some countries but not others is not the way forward.
Hagel's speech is full of hegemonic rhetoric and full of threats and coercive language. This was a thoroughly unconstructive speech that only stirs up instability in the region.
The first day of the Shangri-La, all eyes were on Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's speech. The second day was, of course, Chuck Hagel's speech. And today, everyone will be looking at Wang Guanzhong because he will give some speech and he will probably talk about China's view on regional security. He will also explain China's modernization. It is not a threat to the neighboring countries. He will give examples, and so we're looking forward to see what he's got to say.
Miro, looking ahead, what can we expect on the very last day of this conference?
As I mentioned, the third day, we'll be all looking at Chinese viewpoints. General Wang Guanzhong, who is the Deputy Chief of General Staff at the People's Liberation Army, he will chair a seminar, and he's likely to talk about a different view, a different concept from what Japan and the U.S. has put forward. Instead of forging alliance with some countries but not others, China thinks that we should bring in more multilateral dialogue going forward.
Miro Liu reporting live from Singapore. Thank you for that.